Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern.
2023, it's Little P, James Pearson. Little P, good to see you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. It's good to see you back again. Obviously, been a nice winter back at home in the sun for yourself.
Yeah, it was good, you know, hot summer, and I'm back here and it's all cold.
Yeah, back cold, nice, wet and miserable as well. Looking at the summer as well, obviously enjoyed chilling out in the sun as well, but it was a big winter or summer back home in Australia. Got to compete in the Aussie Championships and that must have been a great experience for yourself.
Yeah, it was really good to ride with some GP riders just to see how much faster they really are, and yeah, really just to gain the experience and to say that I've actually done it, and it pretty much made me a better rider doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we were following live on Facebook and updates online and things like that, but probably we don't realise just how much distance there is between each of those tracks, each of those rounds. Certainly a lot of travelling between each of those venues.
Yeah, it was pretty big for my mum and dad to do, and I appreciate a lot that they did that, but yeah, it's a very, very long way from Adelaide all the way up to Queensland in 10 days, which was pretty tough, but yeah, it's what you got to do.
Like you say, you were obviously grateful of the experience from last season racing in the championship, and like you say, with the strength of the Aussie champs nowadays as well, just to pick yourself, and you even managed to get a couple of points as well. I know you were leading Doyley for that one race in the one round as well, and things like that, like you say, they're only going to push you on as well, aren't they?
Yeah, well, you know, it's just all confidence really, and when I'm riding up against Doyley, and it's just amazing really. Like riding against some of your idols, it's crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Let's take a quick look back, because obviously you'll have had the whole winter to reflect on things. I know it was hard in the moment straight after the season with the way everything had gone for Birmingham, but when you were able to sit down and look back on your first season in British Speedway, how would you sum it up?
Oh, it was very tough, obviously, and I knew that was going to be tough, but at the end of the season, kind of got a bit better for me, and hopefully I can just keep on scoring points to the start of this year, and hopefully it'll be better.
There you go, ladies and gents. We can just have a bit of quiet, please, while the riders are on stage. Thank you. And like you say, I know talks were held with Nigel and Lawrence at the back end of last year. Obviously, we had to wait to see averages and all the rest of it, and how the jigsaw would come together. But you were keen to make sure you were back at Birmingham pretty early doors, weren't you?
Yeah. They did such a good thing for me last year to put me in, and I was always going to come back and repay the favour, and yeah, I was just very thankful that you guys wanted me back.
I know, speaking to you on press day last year, you said points, obviously you wanted to score them, but they weren't your priority. It was all about obviously developing as the season went on. I think everyone in the room would agree you certainly did develop as 2022 went on, but the points were also there to match along the way as well, which must have been pleasing.
Yeah, it was good, you know, I knew it was going to be really tough, and it was just coming here with the experience was good, and yeah, at the end, like the fun matches, I got some good points there, and I was really happy about that, and yeah, it's just always tough.
Yeah, I think everyone will agree as well, and no doubt you will. When you popped out the start, like you say, it's an advantage to anyone, but particularly to yourself, and having those more experienced riders behind you, it's obviously stood you in good stead in a lot of heats as well.
Yeah, the start is the main important thing to do, and it's very hard to come from behind, so when I did get those starts, it was a lot easier for me, and yeah, hopefully I can get some good starts this year. Yeah,
fingers crossed. I know bike time was something every Speedway rider always touches upon. It was the same for yourself back in Poland again this year?
Yeah, Poland, same club, and the Colts this year as well, so more time on the bike, more confidence, and then hopefully that'll make me a better rider.
Yeah, I was going to say, the National Development League, I know there was a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of hoops and hurdles to jump through and over as well, and Mark Lemon did a lot on that front to get you in at the Colts, and I know the National League's reduced to what it was, to what Birmingham supporters were used to, but nevertheless, extra meetings, extra laps and extra bike time, as we said.
Yeah, the Manchester really wanted me there, and they pushed very hard for it for many months, and really glad that they did that. So I'm really happy to be there, and really happy to just get some more rides in and just make me a better rider, really.
Exactly. And in the championship now, you've obviously got the added plus. You've been to all the away tracks, got an idea of the setup to run, and that's going to be a bonus for yourself going there for a second or third time now.
Yeah, it's always good to, see the track and have a go. And England's hard, you can't really have a practice there before the meeting, so yeah, it'll be good to just have the experience around there and just a bit more confidence, and it should be good.
And for yourself, obviously, we're going to speak to a new signing shortly, Ty Proctor, to have someone of his experience and obviously being a fellow Aussie alongside you at reserve, that's going to help you along as well.
Yeah, I hope it does. Us Aussies will stick together really, and yeah, it's going to be very good, I hope.
Any specific aims for the season at all?
Just score points, win, and maybe get into number 2.
There you go, I love that answer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to see him back. Put your hands together for Little P, James Pearson. So, we're just going to get the mic changed over, and as Little P said, it's going to be great for him, not only still continuing to race in the under-24s, I think it is in Poland, is that right, Dave? 24s. A new signing, please welcome to Birmingham, Ty Proctor. Well, Ty, a few months ago, you didn't think you'd be studying doing a Meet the Riders night and a press and practice day again, did you?
Well, potentially, but not this season. No, it wasn't in my plans at the beginning, and fortunately, the Bates family that own Sheffield and Leicester, I work for them also, and them and Lawrence had a chat, and I said to Lawrence I knew he was struggling to find a rider, and that it could all work out, to be fair, so here I am.
Not the first time Birmingham has tried to sign you either?
No, not over the years, no. It's been 3 or 4 times, I think, but last year we were very close, and just with work, I felt going to Berwick would have been a better option, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, and here I am.
Yeah, and as you said, you've obviously put a lot of emphasis on your full-time career and job as well. That's what pays the bills at the end of the day. And now that's stable, now you've got the backing of your bosses in the Bates as well. Hopefully this year you can come and race Speedway again for the enjoyment factor, because I know, speaking to you a lot over the past few years, that's something that had kind of dwindled away from it bit by bit.
Yeah, for a lot of people don't probably understand it, but to get a visa to live here permanently and like set my life up for after Speedway. Obviously, I rode here for a long time, and didn't really have a lot at the end of it. And come COVID, I realised that I need a life after Speedway. So, just like everyone in this room, I go to work 5 days a week, and I just want to come and ride my bike to enjoy it more than anything. Last year at Berwick, I was enjoying it, and I got injured, and then due to the visa, I had to earn a certain amount of money. So sitting on the couch, injured, didn't pay the bills, and it meant I wasn't going to get a visa. So I sat out the rest of the year, and now with all that in place, I can really focus on like the end of my career, basically, and want to do it for fun and get back to a kind of level where I was at. And I don't think it will take too long, and I've got a lot of good things in place moving forward. So it's just going to be a balancing act to begin with, but I think it's possible.
We'll talk about the on-track things and side of things in a short while, but you've just mentioned there a lot of good things in place as well. And I know when you first approached Birmingham, when they were struggling to get that 7th rider, you were honest with them. You said you might need a little time to make sure it was definitely what you wanted. And for about 4 or 5 weeks, a period of changing your lifestyle to get back into it and making sure it was what you wanted to do and that you could do it.
Yeah, like for sure, if it was a weekend club, I could accommodate it, but I had to make sure that everything was in place, and we've kind of done that, and I've got mechanics that are going to build my bikes in the Bickleys, and they're going to travel down, and funny how things work out. Like, I'm based in Sheffield, but now from here on out I'll be working away in Preston, so it kind of works in kind of good. It's not as far as Sheffield to come on a Wednesday night, and I just think after a pretty long, decent career, at the end of it, there wasn't a lot of money in the bank, and I can't just do this forever and then finish my career and not have anything. So I've put things in place, and potentially moving forward, I could get a supervisor's role and focus more on Speedway and still have that job as well.
Yeah, looking at the racing for 2023, I know it was obviously something that the management and promotion putting things into place took a big note of. Your 4-point starting average, and I know when we spoke, when it was announced that you were going to be coming back, you said even looking at your performances for Berwick before you did get injured, you were surprised it was that lower figure.
Yeah, I was getting paid 9 with Bomber like nearly every home meeting, and then at the end of the season, all of a sudden I've got a 4-point average, and I genuinely couldn't believe it. So, you know, it's just a number at the end of the day. I don't want to be at reserve. I want to be in the main body. It's the first time pretty much in my whole career I've been at reserve, so it's quite strange, to be fair. And, you know, it's just a number, and at the end of the day I get to pull behind the tapes and drop the clutch, and it is what it is.
Yeah, any practice days, any press days? I know you were at Sheffield's press day last month as well. You've obviously been going out to France, doing a couple of meetings on borrowed machinery out of there as well. So gradually building the bike time up on that front. And how did you find it out there today? I know it's different conditions to where they're going to be normally, but how was it in general?
Yeah, right. I didn't really churn out a lot of laps, so we were bedding in a bike, and the first session was probably the best session in terms of the track, and I don't think we'll ever race in conditions like that. So I just focused on my starts. So next week, when the tapes come down, I can get in front. But yeah, I don't think anyone forgets how to ride a bike. It's just coming from the tapes, and if I can get in front first, then they've got to try and pass me, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's cliche. It's nice to. A lot of clubs haven't gone with it this year. They're straight in at the deep end. But Birmingham obviously open next week with a challenge fixture against the Coventry B Select. And even after then as well, it's the BSN series and the Knockout Cup as well. So a few meetings before the main bread and butter when the league gets started, and for a rider coming back into it like yourself, that's going to be good for you. Yeah,
it will be good like that. It's good to see that Coventry. You know, I know it's a select, but you know, Coventry's got such a vast history in Speedway, and it's still good to see that. You know, Nigel and Lawrence are putting on a meeting for them and their fans, so hopefully a lot of them turn out. And in terms of what you just said, yeah, plenty of time on the bike. I'm back out in France next week as well, so in 2 weeks as well. So that's just more bike time, and yeah, it's not how you start the season; it's how you finish. So, and that's basically how I'm looking at it. So, like all my equipment and everything, we'll work through and get to a level.
Yeah, there's something I'm probably going to ask each of the boys along the way as well, but quite a unique balance in the teams in terms of nationality as well. So 3 Brits and 4 Aussies, and that can only help with the camaraderie and gelling as well.
Yeah, I've obviously rode with Nick at Leicester for a little bit, and it was cool to be in a team with Nick, and I've known Justin since he was a kid. He used to race with my brother, so it's quite cool to have a few Aussies. I've never really been in a team with a lot of Aussies, so it'll be a new experience, I guess, and yeah, it's cool, and to see young James try and progress. I remember watching him as a kid when I had the year back at home, and he was a tiny little kid running around, and now he's here. It makes me feel old, I guess, but it's cool to see the development of the Aussies. And then I've known Alfie and Steph for a few years, and I've raced against Ryder years ago. So yeah, it's cool. It's good balance and good club, and it's good to see a few people turn out tonight. Most of these you only get a couple of people, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and just finally, like you say, you've mentioned enjoyment. You mentioned you don't really want to be at reserve for as long, but apart from that, anything else in particular this season?
No, not really. I just think I've got some goals in mind of where I want to get back to, and I think it's potentially be quite easy to get back to that level. I've just got to get back on the bike and get bedded in at Birmingham. It's quite strange, to be fair. I was thinking about it the other day. I've not really done a lot of meetings here over the years, and you know, it's just going to take a bit. I remember the Lionsy days where it was a foot deep, you know, so that was when I mainly rode it back then, and yeah, it's just going to take me a couple of weeks to get in, and like I say, I've got good people around me that are going to guide me in the right direction.
Well, Ty, it's great to see you back in British Speedway. Great to have you here in Birmingham. Ladies and gentlemen, Ty, the Dr. Proctor.
Cheers, mate.
I apologise if the speaker goes off, but I need to wet the whistle right there. So remind me of that. Right, so we've met one returnee, one new boy. And let's meet another of our new winter signings. Please welcome to the Birmingham Brummies, Alfie Botel. Alfie, welcome to Birmingham. First and foremost, I know you had that guest booking last year when you scored, I think it was 8 paid 9, was it? And I think that was a moment in Lawrence's head that turned things and put you in contention for this year. So what do you remember about that booking?
Yeah, nice. That was a good evening for me. Enjoyed it, enjoyed the run, the track and the team. And yeah, got on well with Lawrence, and so no, I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, 100%. And spent time with Plymouth in the championship in the last couple of years as well. And I know when people obviously look through the stats and all the figures from recent seasons, and I think it's 4 point. Lawrence will tell me 4 points, 2-8. See, he knows all this off the top of his head. And when you look, a lot of your points were built up at Plymouth, and I know one of your goals this season is now to prove that figure on the road as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like pretty much my whole sort of speedway career, I've rode at small tracks. It just sort of seemed to be the way it sort of panned out. And yeah, I had no problem sort of scoring big points at Plymouth at home, but when I went away, I seemed to struggle a little bit. So yeah, my goal this year is sort of stay consistent home and away.
Rewinding before COVID, I know I used to speak to you a lot in your National League days, and when you were riding for Cradley in the National Trophy and things like that. You've got a busy life away from Speedway anyway, and it's only got busier over the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Had a little boy, got married this winter. Yeah, just absolute flat out non-stop really, but wouldn't have it any other way.
And work-wise as well?
Yeah, full-time plumber, pipe fitter, and I do up my houses and stuff as well, so it's full on.
And as Ty said, it's all about finding that correct balance, isn't it? And like you say, with the full-time job, a young family, and racing in 2 leagues as well, because obviously you've got Mildenhall in the National Development League as well, so flat out till the end of October it's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's all about the balance, and I seem to usually everything just sort of works out, and yeah, just look forward to get going really.
We've talked about Plymouth, obviously. I think 2019, that was when you were with Eastbourne as well, and I seem to remember at the time you were having a really good season, then picked up that knee injury which ended your season quite early as well. So when you look back on your performances in the second division over the past, say, 3-4 seasons, there's got to be something that gives you a lot of belief you can really kick on somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've had like good little few months here and there, like glimpses of going well, and then sort of having just a bad sort of right knee. And then last year again, I had like an awkward crash, broke my tib and fib, and tore my ACL, dislocated kneecap, like done a bit of damage on the knee again. But had like pretty much 9 months off now, 10 months I think, and yeah, the knee's pretty much healed. I feel good. I've been training a lot, and yeah, no excuses now. Ready to go.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, we've talked about the way the team was put together, the way that the jigsaw came together as well, and I think it was the way your average fell. It always looked likely that you were going to be starting in the main body of the team, and that's something you're more than comfortable with to start the season. Yeah,
definitely happy to be starting in the main body, and obviously the goal is to stay in the main body. So yeah, just want to up my average and score as many points as I can, and hopefully get plenty home wins and pick up the away wins, and end of the year hopefully be pretty much near the top.
Yeah, and I know at Plymouth last year they had a lot of injuries. Your team shifted around a lot as well, but we've seen you today, bonded with the boys straight away, even snuck off to the meal a bit early with a few of them as well, and like you say, talking in depth about life and speedway, and that can help massively in a team group.
Yeah, definitely. I rode with Nick before in the Lakeside days, and he's good to have on the team. Obviously, he knows pretty much everything about the speedway, and yeah, just picking up as much as I can from the older boys.
Yeah, reading in the press when they so-called pundits, even though apparently I was classed as one of them one year, and we know what my predictions are like, but a lot of people aren't mentioning Birmingham in contention for the playoffs at all, but I know speaking to a few of the boys today, I think that's something that suits everyone here, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's the aim. Like good group of boys, everyone seems fired up, everyone looked good today. track was great. Like I put in some serious work this winter, and it showed. And so just ready to go now.
Any specific aims, targets, or goals for the year?
Stay consistent, and it's just literally consistent, really, home and away.
There we go. I'm sure you will, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for Alfie Bertel. Thanks, Alfie. So yes, Alfie looking for some consistency, and as he said, he's had a few bad injuries over the last couple of the years, so looking to go through the season. We've already seen how capable he is at Birmingham with that guest performance last year, and now he wants to pick it up on the road as well. So great to see Alfie. Right, it's time to meet the fourth of next year's team, and it's a rider returning to the Brummies after signing for them in 2022. And in 2023, once again, we are in Stefan Heaven with Stefan Nielsen. Well, Stefan, it's great to have you back at Perry Barr for another season. Obviously, a lot of the boys getting back out on track in recent times, but today was your first time back on a bike since last August, was it?
Yeah, it sure was. Felt a little bit rusty on the first few laps, got to be honest. But no, I seemed to pick it up pretty quickly. The tracks had a lot of work on it, and it was really, really smooth to ride. And even the weather, we had a lot of rain today, drizzling all day, and the track still wasn't in terrible shape. Full credit to the track staff and everything that you've done here for that. I'm sure we will appreciate that as the season goes on. Today it was just about getting out there, getting a few laps under our belt, and getting dialed in, ready for the season.
Yeah, and like I say, because you haven't been back on a bike or anything like that, it's been a quiet winter and one for you to regather everything to prepare for 2023, hasn't it?
Yeah, obviously last season didn't go as planned for Birmingham. We struggled a fair bit, and we've got some business to make right this year. I think we've got a really good team put together, and I can't wait to get going with the lads and get some wins and really push for those playoffs. I know we're not talked about as maybe like favourites or even making the playoffs, but I know everyone on the team has got a point to prove, and we're going to go for it.
Obviously you had a few knocks, and obviously that one in August which cut your season short, but when you do look back at the performances for Birmingham, there were certainly positive signs along the way, and I know you began to make Heat 8 your own as well, and I think it was against Poole as well, you claimed a couple of scalps, Danny King, Richard Lawson, so just before you did pick up the injury, you were really settling in at Perry Barr, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm quite a confidence rider, and it takes me a little while to settle down and feel comfortable in my surroundings, and then you kind of get the best out of me. So it's nice to be back with Birmingham. That was a big point for me. I wanted to be back, and I feel comfortable now. I've been working with the same mechanic for a long time, and I just feel really set this season. I even turned up today. Normally I'm a nervous wreck, but today I wasn't. Just trying to relax and enjoy it. I am coming towards the end of my years, as none of them, as they all seem to point out. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we can get some wins on the board.
Like you say, I know you're obviously a confidence rider. A lot of riders would say the same, but you have had some nasty spills in your time. And like you say, it was an awkward one which saw you end your season. And as you said, you came back today. There were no nerves or anything, and you must be able to take even more confidence from the way the track rode in those conditions as well.
Yeah, I fell off in the last meet I did last year, and it was in the rain. So I managed to avoid that today, which is always a good start. I had a few really good meetings last year and picked up a couple of Heat 15s, and that's what I'm pushing for. And it won't be easy. I know we've got some really strong riders in the team, but I'm here giving it 110%, and going to go all the way.
Yeah, I remember the one Heat 15 when Hans Andersen threw it in the fence on bend 3 and tried to get you excluded. That got us the win over Plymouth that night, so yeah, that was a good one. And like you say, certainly shown along the way, even riding with number 1, and I know Lawrence hasn't declared where you're going to be racing yet, but Middle order, Lawrence? 3, 4? 4, there you go, starting the season at number 4. So, let's say if you could do that racing with number 1s in the team last year in 3-year-olds, then hopefully you can get off to a solid start this season.
Yeah, funny story, number 4 is my lucky number, so yeah, I've been dying to get to this number, and yeah, hopefully I can make it my own and score some big points. I know there's going to be a few crucial Heat 14s along the way, which I'm fully ready for, and yeah, good to go.
Yeah, good to go. Obviously, being part of the club last season, the first one under the new consortium and ownership as well, there were a lot of initiatives on race nights that you got involved with. I remember a local scout group having the picture taken with you as well, that they've now got framed and put up as well. And like you say, you feeling comfortable in your surroundings and feeling like you belong at a club, that's something you're certainly starting to do here at Birmingham now.
Yeah, well, Birmingham made the deal permanent, so I'm now a fully fledged asset of Birmingham, and I'm delighted with that news.
There you go, that's cool.
Yeah, just working with the consortium, they've been really good to me, and like I said, it just makes it a lot more nicer to come to work. You look forward to going to work, which you can't say about many jobs, can you? But no, I really do enjoy racing my bike and working with these people, and yeah, I can't wait for the season to actually get going, and yeah, just seeing them on a weekly basis puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, and similarly to like I said, to Ty as well, for someone who's been off the bike for quite a while now, that challenge against Coventry next week, and then that BSN series, that's as nice as it would be to obviously do well and progress in the BSN series, it's also a nice way to warm up to the main action when the championship gets underway.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the challenges. They're really helpful to like get dialed in. Like obviously, I rode the same, like more or less the same setup towards the end of the season every week, and I felt dialed in. But the track's changed a lot as well, so we've got to have a little adapting period where we've got to try a few different things again, see what works, what doesn't work, and yeah, there's a lot more clay in the material as well, so it's going to change things. And today it was obviously a bit wet as well, so it can't fully like take that into effect. But no, the challenge match, hopefully we'll have some lovely sun and a great crowd, and yeah, could get some points.
Fingers crossed. And the same final question to you: any specific aims for 2023?
I get asked that every year, really, but I never set any targets for myself. I feel like it's a little bit more restricting than what I like to go for. I just kind of go with the flow and yeah, do the best that I can. I don't want to limit myself to I want a 6-point average. I want to go as far as I can go, and yeah, some good equipment. I've got a new engine to try, and yeah, a few new things that I want to experiment with, and hopefully I can find something that clicks and that can really push me on.
Well, Stefan, it's great to have you back at Birmingham. We wish you a safe and successful 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, Stefan Nielsen. Yes, great to see Stefan back on a bike for the first time since August earlier today. And it was good to see so many of you out there as well, obviously making the donations to the Supporters Club, as we got you in to watch the first practice session of the season. And he's all mic'd up, so it is time to welcome to Birmingham your brand new number 1. Please give a warm Brummies welcome to Nick Morris. Nick, welcome to Birmingham first and foremost. Obviously after Leicester moved up from the Championship to the Premiership, you were going to be looking for a new club in this league. Was it always a league you wanted to remain in over here?
Yeah, it was. I wasn't too worried if I didn't, because I had plans in Denmark and stuff like that too, and I wasn't going to go to any team. I wanted to make sure I went to a team that was close to home and a team that had ambitions, and Birmingham was a good choice. They didn't have it easy last year with everything that went on, and the fight they put in, and I thought for sure they were going to throw the towel in and call it a day after everything that went on last year, and it showed that the fight they put in, and to keep on going, that was enough for me.
Yeah, because I remember that the meeting against Leicester in 2021, I think it was, when it was the rain was coming down at one point and the track wasn't in the best state under the previous ownership as well. And you were one rider that night who was really concerned by the way things were at Perry Barr. So, like you say, for everything that this new management have done, certainly changed your opinion of Birmingham and of Perry Barr.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't just one meeting that had happened. They had medical problems a couple times, and not through fault of their own either, really. But it must have been such a hard thing with all the fans, had the disappointment the fans went through, and it would have been hard to keep going when things were so low. But they kept going, and they were easy to deal with. Lawrence and Nigel, and everything's been so smooth, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you've mentioned you weren't that fussed if you didn't come back. Like you say, it's nice to have a team place, and looking at the strength of the championship, particularly the top boys in this league again this year, it's still going to be a really good challenging year for yourself.
Yeah, it is going to be challenging. There's a lot of good teams, and it's never easy. But the boys we've got, we're going to fight till the end. Hopefully I can do my job and take a bit of pressure off the guys, and I'll help the boys where I can. And end of the season, we'll see where we're at, and we're going to be fighting for silverware. I'm never in a team that doesn't do that, and it won't be any different this year.
There you go, that's what we'd like to hear. Coming in on an average of over 10, which is over a quarter of the whole team building average as well, so they've certainly made a big commitment in yourself, and that belief must be something that means a lot to you as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I go out to win races, and especially in this league, I normally win a few, so I plan on doing the same for the Brummies. I'm just happy to be riding for Birmingham. It's an hour and a half from home. It's a track I like. There's good people in the club, and yeah, I'll do my job, and I'll help everyone else involved.
Yeah, and a lot of riders can get settled and feel comfortable and not want to move places. And like you say, when Leicester elevated and you stuck with them, it's obviously meant you had to move away from Wolverhampton, where you've been for a few years. Like I say, you're already used to your Leicester track. So having a fresh challenge and fresh surroundings, it might actually do you some good as well.
Yeah, I mean, last season was pretty good, so I can't complain about that. But it's nothing new to me. I've been racing over here for 12 seasons now. I've been to a few different clubs and stuff like that, and I concentrate on myself, winning races myself, whatever club I'm at. So this year won't be any different. I'm happy to be here, like I said, and yeah, just want to win as many races as I can every race I'm in.
Yeah, and obviously the heats 13 and 15 are always the big ones for a number one. But when you look at the way that the team's been built, so you're going to have Seji in heat 13, Seji, James Wright, Stefan Nielsen, Alfie, Ty, James. What I'm saying is that there's going to be some healthy backup for you as well in those big races along the way.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure me and Seji will be in some big heats this year, and hopefully some of the other guys can pop up too. But like I said, just it's early days. We'll see what happens Wednesday, and how the team's looking and how everything's going, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
And the Aussie connection we've mentioned for you in the team as well, and I know you've been in teams where you've looked up to Aussie riders. Now you're at that experience level where you're obviously one of the higher ones in the team, and having someone like James in the team, it must be a different role obviously to now be passing it on to a younger Aussie as well. Yeah,
it doesn't feel that long ago that I was like James and looking for help, and the good thing with James is he's keen to listen and keen to ask questions and stuff like that too. So you can always tell when there's a kid that wants to learn, and you know they'll go further than the kid that just sits there in the corner not asking questions, not keen, and he's a confident little kid, and I've seen him around for a few years now, so I'm sure he'll do well, and there's going to be a lot of improvement to come from him.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned, there hasn't been that much talk about Birmingham in the build-up to this season, but as you've said, you're just naturally used to being in teams that fights for silverware, and as Alfie and Stefan have said, the underdog tag is something which could actually work in Birmingham's favour, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'll worry us. We'll go through the season and see how things are going, and I'm sure at the end of it, we'll hopefully all the boys will get going, and we'll be in a good position at the end. But I'm sure the club will do what they got to do to make sure we're strong at the end.
At this level, any specific targets this year? Finishing top of the averages, winning the Championship Riders individual, perhaps?
All of that.
There you go. We hope you do it in our colours as well. Nick, it's great to have you, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Morris. So yes, great attitude and determination from Nick there, as he says. Usually involved in teams challenging for the silverware, particularly at championship level. And certainly impressed by the club's owners and management's ambition over the winter as well. And we mentioned his Heat 13 partner, and he is the next rider and final rider we're going to hear from. Back as your new club captain in 2023, the Sedgehammer, Justin Sedgman. You can go that side, go on. Justin, great to have you back at Perry Bar in 2023. I know when you signed as a replacement for Adam Ellis partway through last season, there were a lot of concerns at the time just because Adam, British champion and all of that, but you soon put any of those doubts to rest with a stunning debut, if we can just go back to that night at Oxford.
Yeah, no, it's funny how it all works out. Adam actually spent a fair few weeks with me in Aussie, so probably the first real time I've had anything to do with him, but yeah, I did take his team spot, I guess. But yeah, it was a good night at Oxford, very similar to what it is today, just raining and not so good. I don't know why these don't start in May. But yeah, that was a good night. Then the Birmingham the next night was a good night, and then the rest of the season was, you know, pretty good, so pretty solid. And yeah, this year's looking really good. Obviously, Birmingham have done a great job putting the team together and bringing Nick in especially. That's no easy thing to do. Him and probably Sam Masters, you know, to put them in a team is very difficult, and they got to take a bit of a gamble because they take up a lot of points, but they got the big average because they win races. So yeah, it is good to have him, and obviously Ty in the team as well, and James, we're the four Aussies, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then obviously the other boys, they're all good guys and ride hard and do well. So yeah, can't complain.
As you said, you've touched upon obviously bringing Nick on his average as well, and obviously takes a bit of pressure off yourself as well.
Well, I actually spoke to Nigel about building a team next year, and he said, "Oh, we can't get Nick in or Sam Masters in on the average," and then all of a sudden we end up with Nick. So yeah, he told me a lie already. So yeah, no, it is a big commitment for the club, and obviously Nick. He's rode for Wolverhampton, and he's got a following at Wolverhampton and also Leicester, which isn't too far away. So, as much as everyone in this room loves their speedway, Nigel will say that we need more people coming through the gate. So that is the avenue they went down by, he rode for Wolverhampton. So hopefully we can entice them guys to come over.
There you go, thinking of the money, that's what we like. I'm sure Nigel would, yeah. As we said though, it's nice to have that bit of pressure off you, because it was a tough season for the club last season with the amount of injuries that were sustained as the year went on. Obviously the situation with the number one rider that unfolded throughout 2022 as well, never a regular number one, and I know that was something you felt you needed to pick up, and I think when you look back now, you've got to be delighted with the way you carried yourself in Birmingham colours last year.
Yeah, it was it just happened really. I just come in and just started winning a few races, and everything was kind of falling around me, and I just kept riding. And obviously Steph got injured and Ashley Morris was struggling, and we just had bad luck really. And like Nick just touched on, the Birmingham promotion didn't throw the towel in, and this year our goal is to get to the playoffs. We can obviously do a bit more once you get to the playoffs. Anything can happen, and hopefully we're not that silly team that's not riding in the playoffs, that's not their home track. So we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, well, was it that ambition that they're showing? Like say, Nigel might have said he couldn't fit Sam or Nick in, but I know even like alternative plans, competitive teams were being talked about. But was it the overall ambition that kept you at Birmingham over the winter?
Well, Nigel was actually called an arsehole at the BSPL meeting, or whatever they had.
All the secrets coming out here.
Yeah, basically, Tracy, she pays very well, and it's like the next day we're in. So that word got around to all the spear riders, and spear riders can be quite selfish and they want to be looked after. So everyone was ringing Nigel to see if they could come ride for Birmingham. So yeah, he got in a bit of trouble for that.
See, Tracy Smith, our on-song hero, right? Paying everyone on time. There you go. But no, on a serious note, I know because obviously your season seemed to go on forever with the way your racing schedule panned out. So I know you were racing on November the 2nd with Sheffield in that Premiership.
I wasn't.
No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't.
I got a better one.
Rewind.
No, I actually ended up having to go. I'd already committed to a race meeting in Australia, and I asked Steady. I said, it was like 6 weeks before, I'm like, hey, I need to kind of go the 1st of November. And he's like, oh, we're definitely going to be done. Definitely going to be done. And all unfolded and we weren't done. And yeah, they obviously, it was all good because I'm not banned or anything like that. So yeah, went home and did that. And I actually wasn't planning on doing the Australian Championships, and then did the first round and made the final, and everyone else fell off basically. And there was 5 riders missing, and they asked me to do the series, and yeah, kind of, I haven't stopped riding since you probably last see me really, and I was kind of sitting there before, I'm like, geez, I've got to go ride tomorrow now after today. So yeah, that's what we all enjoy doing. That's why you probably see Ty coming back. We were just talking about it before. You know, he really loves the sport, and you know, loves riding his bike. And you know, we don't want to be like them people that go, oh, I wish I'd kept riding, or you know, just wish I'd kept at it up, you know, for a few more years. And obviously he's got other things in place as well, but you know, still really enjoys riding a speedway bike. And that to me kind of sold me. He sold me with that today, just saying how much he really loves it, and he brings in a lot of experience as well. And you know, there's a few other guys that can definitely reap the rewards from that.
Yeah, and going back to yourself, Nick obviously mentioned about racing close to home. What you're actually doing, going to be racing in Birmingham on a Wednesday, not close to home, but Birmingham on a Wednesday, Leicester on a lot of Thursdays as well, with you move your switcher clubs in the Premiership as well. So on a logistics basis on that front, that's going to work out nicely throughout the year. Yeah,
obviously it kind of come from nowhere. I would have really liked to stay at Sheffield, and to be honest, I actually haven't really spoke to the Bateses at all through my career. Just hello, how are you? Money goes in, money goes out on my behalf. But yeah, they just, yeah, I got a phone call from Stuart and said, you know, we want you, you're not going to be used at Sheffield. And I went, oh, fair enough. And then he goes, but I want you at Leicester. And I went, I was a little bit concerned on going there at the start, but yeah. After seeing it the other day, even though I got rained out and all the equipment they've bought, and just it seems pretty good for me. And obviously it's close to here, and hopefully like Nick rides for Leicester and we can entice them fans to come and support this great club.
Yeah, I know it hasn't officially been announced. We're not doing that until tomorrow, but I think most people would have guessed you were in the front-running position to be the new club captain, obviously with Ash leaving the club over the winter as well. And again, a role you feel you can excel in, I promise.
Yeah, I've never... Oh, I was captain last year because there was no one else to be captain, I guess. Yeah, I didn't really plan on being captain, but I was the only rider at Poole, so I had to be. Yeah, and I was kind of like thinking I deserved to be it because I'd had a good year, and yeah, I want to be it basically. And you know, Nick's here now. I keep touching on. He's got that 10-point average, so he can set the track records and win all the races, and hopefully I can back him up and get somewhere to his average. And yeah, we'll see who they sign next year, I guess.
Yeah, like you say, top six for the playoffs again. That's it. So, like you say, it's an opportunity to grasp, and obviously, if you get in that top six, anything can happen in that playoff stage at that time of the year.
Yeah, and I keep talking about Nick. Bloody hell.
You got a thing for Nick?
Yeah, he's obviously said that before as well. He's I think he's won more league titles than anyone in the sport, really. You know, from a young kid when he first signed for Glasgow, he won, and every year he just rocked up in a team and won. And yeah, obviously that brings good experience, and as we all know, anything can happen in the playoffs. I got robbed last year with Bellevue cheating and the referee not doing
I don't know what you mean there, Sydney.
Yeah, so I made it, yeah, well, I got to the final anyway with Sheffield, so, but yeah, I've also won it, and it's a good feeling, and once you taste that feeling, you don't really want to let it go. So if we can bring a bit of silverware to the club this year, and that all starts on Wednesday by beating Coventry Select, and then they've done it really well by starting the season a little bit later. As you can see, it's pretty shit weather. So,
Not to any kids watching it, okay?
yeah, and yeah, doing that challenge match to begin with, that's good. And then we go into the BSN and get serious with the league and win every home match and pick some points up and some wins along the way, away from home, get to the playoffs, and then we'll go from there, regroup.
There you go, Sergi. Absolutely fantastic to have you back. Your new club captain, the Sedgman, Justin Sedgman. Thank you, Sergi. Right, what time are we on? Who's got the time?
Doesn't mean it.
Wow, so I'm doing well. Doing well here, getting good at this. Right then, we've got two more people we need to hear from, and then we will do the raffle. And then you'll all be free to go. The boys have got some long journeys to make. Nick Morris, don't know whether he's going back to Swindon before he goes to Ipswich tomorrow, but there we go. Right then, let's hear from the men at the top. First of all, your team manager and co-promoter. He's back here, Lawrence Rogers. You can stay that side. Well, Lawrence, I think listening to each of the boys' interviews there's certainly a great amount of determination in this team.
No, very much so. They're all up for it, and you know, they underestimate us at their peril, because you know, a lot of these know-it-all people are saying, "Oh, we won't make it." Yes, we will.
Yeah, I know last time we spoke to you was at the Graham Drury night, and I think that was just before Proctor was officially announced. So Ty's explained the situation, and it's been made public in the press as well. And got to say a big thanks to Ty, because it was causing a severe headache, almost a migraine, wasn't it?
More than a migraine, yeah. The number of riders we spoke to, tried for there, but then I get a message off Ty saying, have you got your last rider? I said, no, I'll do it.
Yeah, well, there you go, he's got his head in his phone, not paying there he is.
I'm talking nicely.
Back in the room. Well, like you say, you know they're getting inundated with requests every year for team spots, but when it comes from someone with Ty's experience, obviously a former Elite League winner and a whole host of experience in the top two divisions, it's a welcome message to have.
Oh, very much so. You know, Chris Van Straten actually rang me a bit something yesterday. He said, "You realise you've got the best reserve in the championship?" I said, "Yep." And I gave him his body colour today. He said, "You've never given me a reserve one before. I won't want it for long. I want to be up in that main body of the team." You know, I've known Ty since he came to the country. In fact, little story there, Ty, when he first came to the country, he actually rode for me for £5 a point and 5p a mile, and scored 14 points at Weymouth and beat Dave Mason.
You're making him sound old now, Lawrence. Blimey, calm down. But like you say, to have him starting at reserve, absolutely fantastic. Alongside little PU, as we keep going on about, we saw glimpses of his potential along the way, and now this year he's ready to kick on and show what he's worth. Very
much so, you know, and he had a good winter in Oz. We were following him the Oz Championships, did it very well. Of course, last year, he wasn't actually coming last year, he was really this year, but it all got brought forward by 12 months. I got a call off Craig Watson saying, "Do you want him?" And the answer, of course, was yes. And as you saw last year, he improved and improved. And at the end of the year, a couple of 6 paid 8s just showed what he can do. And, you know, watch the kid.
Yeah, sounds like you're going to be spending a lot of time with him this year as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got to drive him everywhere, of course, with the Bellevue meetings as well. So I will be seeing a lot of him.
Yeah, keep him off Broad Street, he'll be all right. Alfie Botel as well. Say no more. Alfie Botel, someone you've spent a lot of time with since he started out in the sport as well, and like you say, to have him here at Birmingham, but based on that guest booking as well as how you know him personally as well, there's certainly something there if, like you say, you can steer away from those bad injuries he's had the last few seasons.
Yeah, we don't talk about those. We don't have those anymore. No, I've known Alfie a long while, and as well, and a rider who always excelled when he came to Birmingham. You know, and that guest booking last year put him in the back of my mind, like several people, and it was great. It took about 10 seconds to get him to agree to join me.
Since you've mentioned guest bookings and how it put people in mind, James Wright was obviously one of those. I know I mentioned it at the start of the night, but just talk us through what happened with James last night, first and foremost.
Well, he scored 11 out of 12, only beaten by Richie Worrell in the main part of the Pole Start meeting. They then put the top rider from each of the teams into a final. Unfortunately, hit the fence on the back straight and came down. And I read another thing that said he walked back to the pits. Great, no problem. My phone buzzes at 11:30. I'm not going to be at practice tomorrow. I think I've hurt my shoulder. So that was it.
The first bit of good news is no broken bones, but now we've just got to give it a few more days for any sort of swelling to go down, and then a reassessment of potential ligament damage.
That's right. He's been to see Steve Williams, the physio, this afternoon as well. He was hoping to come over today, but he's in too much pain to stay over. So he says hello to everybody. But you know, we will know in a couple of days what the outcome is. He definitely won't be riding naturally next Wednesday, and then we'll judge it from there.
Yeah, and as we've touched upon, got the BSN series to get through anyway before the bread and butter stuff starts. Moving on to the final three riders in the team. Stefan, someone who proved very popular amongst the supporters and management last year as well, mainly for his efforts, like I say, in that number 2 race jacket.
Yeah, he got some scalps. Well, got Scott Nichols at one meeting as well. It was a cracking race that was put on Facebook recently. I looked at that, I remember that one. Yeah, Stefan's a great lad. Yeah, again, I've known Steph a long time. He was actually my mascot when I was at King's Lynn promoter. So we do go back a little way. You know, you wouldn't think it. He looks so young and I look so old.
No comment on that last one. Nick Morris, new number 1. As I keep saying, it was a big commitment to sign someone on an average of over 10 when there's only a 40-point limit. But I know you felt, obviously, with the Klaus Wissing situation last year, that number 1 spot was something you really wanted to take control of this year.
Was that Klaus Missing or Klaus Wissing? yeah, it was. Again, you know, we wanted a genuine number 1, and you know, you look at the averages last year. Sam Masters just ahead of him. He was the second highest average rider in the championship, and you know, he's put some good performances together at Perry Bar as well in the past. You know, again, I've known Nick a long while. He actually was going to come and ride for me at Newport, so he broke his wrist and ended up at Buxton. And I've known his mum and dad for a long time as well. You know, great lad, and you know, it gels the side together.
Yeah, Seji, like I say, fully deserved return. I don't think anyone was too surprised with that one, and you've decided to make him club captain as well.
Yeah, he's paying me to do that, aren't you, Sej? No, he wanted to do it. You know, as he said, at pool he was the only one there, so I had to make him captain that night, and he just kept the role on for the rest of the year. Did a good job. You know, works with the boys well, talks to them. You know, and from the point of view that you know, he's a good brummie.
Sticking with the top 2 as well, championship riders, the major events in this second division as well. We're going to have a solid show this year.
Oh, very much a solid show, yeah. Be interesting to see when we go down to Oxford for the pairs. That'll be an interesting one.
Yes, definitely. So night before Cardiff still entered. So night before Cardiff, get yourselves to Oxford and cheer the boys on September the 1st off the top of my head.
Correct.
Looking at the team overall, I've mentioned it to a few of the boys. Naturally, people are mentioning Poole and Glasgow the way they always do, and Redcar. No one really mentioning Birmingham, but that's fine. We'll go along with that, won't we?
That's fine, mate. Underestimate us. I don't mind at all, and the boys are the same. You know, we're out there to do a job. The aim is to get to the playoffs, and as you said, we will then reassess ourselves and hopefully go for silverware, which Nick likes taking over with him.
Exactly. A few of the boys who were here last year have said it. The new boys have said it as well. A lot of work has been done on that track since the final meeting last September. and for the rain to come down the way it did in the morning, all the way through the practice session as well, it held up really well and rode really well as well.
Yeah, you know, John Priest has done an amazing job. You know, we've been there all winter. And also all my volunteers who are there every Sunday, you know, we're there every week. The only 2 Sundays they had off was Christmas Day and New Year's Day. We let them have that.
What happened to they?
Well, I couldn't find a turkey. Track was great today. You know, as the boys have said, you know, the wet was there, didn't make any difference. It rode well. You know, all the old bumps that are no longer there. There's still work to be done. John's in this Sunday to pull it back there. We've still got more clay and to put on it later in the year and some more shale. It's going to be a cracking circuit.
And it all gets started a week tonight. There'll be none of this wet weather, that'll disappear. Great meeting against Coventry last year, popular amongst Bromley supporters and B supporters as well. And go on, we'll let you tell us the Coventry lineup to get everyone in the mood for next week.
Yeah, well, it's good to have Coventry come in and keep the name going. Hopefully they get back to Brandon. And hopefully bring a lot of fans with them as well on the next Wednesday. Right, their lineup. Number 1 is someone we know well, Bomber. 2, Dan Thompson. At 3, Connor Mountain. At 4, Adam Roydham. At 5, Danny King. 6, Joe Thompson. It would have been Shainesy coming, but Shainesy's no longer riding the course, and so it's coming in at 7. He rode last year, and his granddad was next B, and that's Freddie Hodder, who's a lad I'm keeping my eye on.
There you go. So that is the Coventry lineup in full for next Wednesday. So make sure you're there to cheer on the boys. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Team manager Lawrence Robbins. So yes, just a reminder with that one for next Wednesday as well. Turnstiles will open at, it's been a long while, so 6 p.m. the turnstiles will open. Season tickets are not valid next Wednesday, but if you've got an advanced 5 book, then you can use it for one of those. And if you are a season ticket holder, you'll have had an email with...
You probably want me to start off with one.
So, there we go. Right then, last man to talk to. He is your co-owner and consortium leader, Tolly Badges. Here he is, Nigel Tolly. Tolly's Badgers, here we go. I'm keeping all of this because you're a nightmare when you grab this. As we've just said to Lawrence there, it's been great to get the boys together for the first time. It's sad that James couldn't make it today, but really have gelled instantly, this group of boys.
Sorry?
Gelled together well, this group of boys, haven't they?
I thought it was the right bunch of Charlies. No, we are going to be together as a team. As I've said right away from the start of last season, we're all one big family. Starting from the team, right the way to the supporters, right the way through. We are one family, and that's what we want. We want everybody to be friendly, work together, be together, and that's exactly what's happening. Everybody is working together. The team have got on very, very well today. Isn't this working?
That's for the people watching at home.
Oh, right, okay.
Or do you want to stay in the warm and the dry?
Okay, I'm picking this up now. We're all going to be gelling well. The team have got on superbly well today. I mean, look at them now, just talking away there, not listening to me whatsoever. They're just, just talking away. It's going to be a great team. It's going to be a great team. We're going to go places. Yeah,
like you say, on track. That's that side of things. I know there's been a lot of work, mainly thanks to a couple of gentlemen who are in the room this evening as well, in terms of marketing and sponsorship as well. And without that sort of investment, then without the input of sponsors, we won't be stood here tonight, really. No, I mean, we were thrown in the deep end last season. We'd got to do a lot of work very, very quickly. And as I said, it turned out it wasn't a 1-year plan, it's a 2-year plan or even a 3-year plan. And that team at that side of things is coming together, and Steve's doing a fantastic job, brilliant job, and there's more to come. We've got to try and make ends meet. I've said at the start of the season, part of the business plan is that Tolly Badges only has to put half in what they put in last season.
That's got to be the business plan. And that's working out well. More sponsors are coming in. We're advertising like crazy. I don't know if it's been released. We're going to be advertising on the back of buses in the next few weeks. It's going to be only for a period of about 3 weeks to start off with, just to see how it goes. But yeah, we're going to have on I think 60 or 70 buses, we're going to have posters on the back. We'll do a little competition. Don't know if I'm going to release it a bit too early, but you'll have a little competition, see who spots the posters on the back of buses. If that works out well, we'll go to more. We had another idea this week of buying yet another flatbed pickup. Did you hear that, Tracy?
No.
Buying another big flatbed pickup and putting a big A-frame on the back of that. With 2 whacking great big posters for Birmingham Speedway, for Brummies, and we'll tour around with that. Yeah, take it in through the middle of Birmingham, etc., etc. Park it up in all sorts of places. We'll see how that one goes. We've got 10,000 leaflets being sent out around Birmingham, and I'm sure a lot of you are involved in that and have been delivering those. That's absolutely superb. We've got posters going up in shops, which are going to be numbered, and there's going to be a prize draw monthly, just to make sure they keep the posters in the places where they're supposed to be. But we've got a lot of ideas. But we can only put these all into practice by working as a family. And Lawrence has mentioned, and we keep on mentioning, volunteers. Volunteers are doing an absolutely superb job. We would not be here if it wasn't for the volunteers. You know, quite seriously, we couldn't get that done.
Round of applause for the volunteers, and as we said, the sponsorship as well, the heat sponsors, the programme sponsors, and Curtis Sport, Tolly Badges, Thermo Home, and Duct Air Electrics. Did I get them in the right order? There you go, happy days. See, I've remembered already. And yeah, Duct Air Electrics as well, obviously supporting the second halves in particular as well, with the Birmingham Bulls and the Birmingham Buffaloes, with the return of the Midland and Southern Development League in 2023 as well. So plenty to look forward to. And like we say, a big night to open with next Wednesday, and hopefully get a good turnout from both sets of supporters like we did in last September.
Yeah, it's normally a superb meeting against Coventry. As I said earlier on today, it's just a shame that Coventry haven't actually got a team in the league. It'd be great if they did manage to get themselves back in. But yeah, it should be a good turnout for it. I hope the weather's better than today. It'd be nice to get into some proper spring and summer weather. I thought this morning when I got, look at it, it's pouring down in Kinborough. It was pouring down with rain at 9 o'clock this morning. I thought, that's it, we won't have any track time. Typical is the bad luck Brummies is not going to strike again. I'm determined that we are not going to be labelled that bad luck Brummies. It's going to be brilliant Brummies from now on.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you that for Nigel Collins. So a few other things to note ahead of next Wednesday and throughout the course of 2023. No roadworks. Nigel Tolley wants me to stress there are no more roadworks in Perry Bar, which is obviously a big plus. One-stop shopping centre. If you used to park on there, don't. The agreement has ended on race nights. So if you go to the parking section on the website, there's all the details of all the various places you can now park on there. So don't park on the one-stop shopping centre next week.
Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern.